Hello everyone, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. I have to tell you guys, just as I was setting up for this reading, I had a few strange things happen that I feel were direct messages reflecting a collective twin flame energy happening right now. The first thing is I went to record, and I've recorded, as you know, many videos, and I've never had this specific issue, which is what makes it so weird. But as I was recording, I wear headphones so I can hear the music and hear myself speaking while I'm talking. And for some reason, it was really distorted, like my voice was only coming through one side of the headphones, and it just felt really distorted. That's the best way I can say it. And the second thing that happened is I kept feeling like as I was starting to record, there was this feeling of stuckness coming up, almost like feeling tongue-tied, which usually doesn't happen to me at the beginning of these readings. And it felt like as I was trying to channel this collective energy, it was like this block kind of came up. It was like that feeling where you're tongue-tied, you're trying to say something, but the words aren't coming out or you don't know how to start. And that really leads me to believe that there's a lot of miscommunication going on collectively as twin flames or divine counterparts, whichever label you resonate with. And this actually directly connects with some channeled messages I felt coming through while I was meditating for this reading. Because what kept coming through is that there is some kind of energetic power struggle going on in a sense. I feel as though one energy in the divine counterpart union is coming into their own in some way, or has this kind of like wild, untamable energy about them, is a very powerful, intense force. I got that for many of you, this will be the divine feminine, although this might not be true for everyone. And just something about this energy, something felt uncontrollable. But then there was this other side to this energy, someone trying to control. So I'm getting something or someone that's uncontrollable, and someone or something who is trying to control it. And it's like this struggle for control. But beneath all of this is this longing to be supported. Two people longing for the same thing, but not realizing that they actually want the same thing. I feel like one party in this connection may be acting in a way that appears to contradict the desire of the other, but this isn't actually the case. This is some kind of illusion. And prior to this reading, I heard the word illumination really clearly in my mind. And I feel that word is indicating that through this reading, we're going to bring to light or shed light upon this kind of struggle, this conflict in energy going on between many divine counterparts right now, and clear up whatever miscommunication may be happening. So I'm about to shuffle the Energy Oracle cards deck and bring through some initial messages for you guys. But I do want to say a big thank you to everyone here listening to my channel. I am so grateful for each and every one of you sharing this space here with me. And if I do resonate with you, please do click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get updated whenever I post new content. So let me just grab the Energy Oracle cards deck and we will get right into it. Okay, so as you guys know, I really like pulling from this deck first because I feel that the cards and the messages associated with them are really applicable to many different kinds of situations. So it's really good just for generally reading into the energy. So as I shuffle, I'm going to clarify my own intentions for this reading. And I would love if any of you powerful, creative beings out there feel guided to set some intention in your heart and soul for this reading. Because as I always say, you truly are co-creators of this channel. This isn't just me creating videos. This is all of us collectively co-creating energetically this information and the messages that come through in these readings. So thank you for sharing your powerful, beautiful energy and intentions here with me. Also, I do want to say that throughout this reading, I will be recommending specific subliminals for the Twin Flame Collective that you can use to shift, balance, or harmonize the energies in some way. So these are meditation tools you can use to shift, ground, or stabilize your energy in some way. All of these come from my website, Sound and Soulful. And on this website, I've created a virtual library that has over, I believe, 130 now, subliminals for all areas of life. And just so you know, specifically for Twin Flames, I do have several subliminals designed just for shifting, balancing, and harmonizing the Twin Flame connection. So if you'd like to explore those subliminals or any subliminals I mention in this reading, you can sign up for a 7-day free trial to access any of them completely free. And all of the links to the subliminals I mentioned will be in the pinned comment and description box under this video. So guys, I've pulled 5 cards so far. Okay, I now have 6 cards, and this feels like a good place to start. So pause the video if you haven't yet set your intentions, although hopefully those of you who were setting intentions already have done so. And I like to go, especially at the beginning, just one by one to kind of slowly ease into this reading, because just from my meditation, I do feel like there were many, many, many messages coming through, and a little bit of a complex energy with this power struggle dynamic between the divine feminine and the divine masculine that I felt coming through. By the way, guys, before I get into this reading, I also wanted to tell you, I meant to say this at the beginning, but I always leave out crystals on my desk. And today, as I was preparing the decks, picking out the decks I was going to use, I felt really, really drawn to this green fluorite crystal. And I am not super familiar with many different crystal properties, so I just did a little bit of research on what this crystal is associated with. And I found that it's really connected to opening our intuition, to harmonizing, to stabilizing ourselves. So I just wanted to say that in case that theme kind of comes up at all in this reading. Okay, so the first card I pulled for you is Happy Family, and this is in the upright position. I feel like this is reflecting someone's desire for stability. I even saw someone daydreaming, like kind of fantasizing about starting a family with their divine counterpart. But this felt very much like a vision or a daydream. I feel almost now myself tearing up. I feel like someone really longs to create a kind of family dynamic they weren't able to experience in their own childhood. A lot of you listening are generational curse breakers. And what I mean by that is you were born into a difficult family situation or a family with certain negative patterns of subconscious thoughts or energy that get passed down from one generation to the next. Now, I'm not saying this to demean anyone's family or family situation, because we actually all have, every single family comes with its own set of so-called generational curses, just usually for different things. And you were born into this family because you were going to be the one to break the pattern. You were going to be the one to create something new. And for many of you, this has been really difficult because for some of you, this resulted in you being kind of an outcast within your family, a black sheep, or someone that felt ostracized, left out, or even made fun of. And this is just because your desire to create and to build something new, a new pattern for yourself, this created a kind of light, an aura of light around you that shed light on things that other people in your family may have been trying to keep in the darkness or weren't ready to see and accept. And you couldn't help but shine this light. It's what you came to do. It was a core part of your soul purpose here on earth. However, one thing that you came here to realize is that you have to continue shining your light regardless of how other people react to it. I don't know who needed to hear that, but I just felt that was kind of a side message coming through here connected to life purpose. I am going to pull a few cards from the Soul's Journey deck, I believe it's called, just because I feel that there might be some more messages connected on your soul's purpose or like the essence of your soul. And I just feel this is going to correlate somehow with what you're experiencing within your divine counterpart connection. Okay, so this is the Soul's Journey deck. That was the name I was trying to think of. I haven't used this deck very often, but I just really feel like there's a message here for you that we really need to bring through. Okay, so Spirit, what do these generational curse breakers need to hear right now? So the card I pulled is Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So I feel that many of you, potentially through your family situation, you were taught to restrict your own creativity or your own connection to the divine. The divine as we think of it being the divine within us, our higher self, as well as the divine that we often refer to externally, that higher power, the universe, which of course these two things, the divine within and the divine without, are actually the same thing. They're connected. However, I feel that many of you lost your connection to that along the way. And I feel like for many of you, this has been an integral part of your spiritual awakening. You've been reawakening that. And interestingly enough, this other card, self-esteem, was just at the bottom of the deck as I flipped it over, and it really caught my eye. And I just feel that I need to read the message on this card because I think some of you have forgotten this. This may be part of what you've forgotten in losing that connection to the divine or to your own intuition or your own purpose. Perhaps again as a result of past family situations or people in your family who may have devalued your gifts. And this card says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Maybe some of you will even feel guided to incorporate that affirmation into your daily affirmation routine, to just repeat that aloud to yourself until you truly believe it, or really not even believe isn't even the most energetically accurate word. It's really remembering until you remember that, because you know that at the core of your soul, you know that your gifts are valuable, but I feel like many of you are just reawakening to that. And so circling us back here, I feel that all of this is now coming full circle because many of you experienced a devaluing of your gifts. Again, many of you through a family situation, because you are generational curse breakers. And now at this point, when it comes to your union, you see this vision of a future with your person in which I feel some of you think of, if you are thinking of having children, you think of creating a family structure or bringing children into the world who are raised to know their worth and to nourish their soul and to not only fixate on material success from the ego, but to create, to imagine, to tap into their true gifts. I feel like many of you, some of you may even actually have a sense of, we can sense if we are destined, if it's part of our path to bring children into the world, we can often sense these souls before we give birth to them. So we have an awareness of who, because we do choose our families, we have an awareness of what child has chosen us to be their future parents. And again, this won't apply to all of you because I'm also sensing that some of you children aren't necessarily on your path, and you are going to be this is kind of a weird message, but rather than giving birth to children, you're going to be, in a sense, giving birth to your own inner child, rebirthing that inner child self that is connected to their own free-spirited nature, imagination, and creativity. So just take that either way it applies, because again, this is a very collective reading. So this could really apply either way for you. The second card is the community card in reverse. And I'm feeling this contrast. Like the first card kind of gave me this idea, this image of like a daydream. I feel like there's a lot that you're imagining for your future when it comes to, again, whether it's building a family or creating this beautiful connection with your person that's very manifested and tangible and physical and concrete. However, I feel like there is this contrast between a kind of isolation that you're experiencing either physically and emotionally, either way, physically or emotionally. This contrast between that and this vision, or there could just be some other kind of contrast. These are very two contrasting cards side by side, which shows me that there's something going on in your energy that's very contrasting. I do feel like for many of you, this is a divide between what you're imagining. Again, this could be with your person, or this could be in general with a vision you have for your life. And I see there being some difference between what's physically manifested and what you are imagining for this situation. And I feel that there's a part of you, because of this seeming disconnect between what you're seeing and what you're imagining, there's this fear that it's not coming or that it's not happening. And the third card I pulled for you is all tied up in the reverse position, which is so interesting because I felt so tongue-tied and kind of stuck at the beginning of this message. I feel like someone in this situation has a lot to say and they're not sure where to begin or where to start saying it, but I feel like I just got this feeling of all of this pressure building up. And I feel like if this person got talking, they wouldn't be able to stop talking. Many of you may have even experienced this directly in a very literal way with your person, where maybe you and your person either had just met or hadn't spoken in a while, and you started talking, and then it was like there was this initial block to talking, whether it was that there was a distance between you, there was an emotional distance. But I feel that once you start talking to each other, something just opens up, and suddenly it's like this avalanche, this waterfall of emotions and words and feelings that can't even be held back. It's like this unstoppable force of nature. And yes, my cat is agreeing there if you heard that meow in the background. But I do feel like this also, because this card is reversed, I feel that this sense of being tied up or of being tongue-tied or of being stuck in communication is actually resolving itself, opening itself up. And this may be connected actually also to an opening in the heart chakra, because I have personally felt a lot with this full moon that we just experienced yesterday. Around this time, I felt a lot of opening up in my heart chakra center, more so than usual. So some of you may be feeling that as well. And I felt this both in the physical way, which, just to share with those of you who aren't aware, a heart chakra opening physically can feel just like a kind of almost like a breaking open or like an aching feeling in your chest, or even can be felt from the back if you have a little bit of upper back tension or pain or stiffness. This can all be a sign of a lot of movement happening through the heart chakra. And emotionally, this can show up as feeling really overly emotional. And both myself and my divine counterpart have been feeling this lately, this kind of feeling really emotional. And I feel that many of you listening have this feeling that maybe it's just you that is feeling really emotional right now, or really feeling this heart chakra opening, especially those of you who are in separation. But I feel that someone listening needs to know that your person is feeling this too. Specifically, I'm speaking to a divine feminine listening whose divine masculine is really stoic, maybe an earth sign I'm speaking to. Again, this could just be one person. Your person, this divine masculine is an earth sign, and it's most likely a divine feminine listening to this podcast. And you're wondering whether your earth sign divine masculine is feeling the kind of emotion that you're feeling because he's not showing it in the same way. And I'm just seeing like tears rolling down someone's cheek, but then them trying to kind of pretend that they're not crying. So I'm really hearing that if this is you, again, this is now me just speaking. This is one message for probably one person, but this divine feminine really needs to know that your earth sign divine masculine is feeling this overflowing of emotions. They're just trying to present this kind of stoic, stable, strong, masculine, overly masculine exterior. So again, that's just probably for one person. But I like to channel these specific messages as they come through for those who might really need to hear them. So again, I do feel like communication is opening up. And the reason, I meant to say this earlier, but the reason that I connected the heart chakra to that, for those of you who haven't seen some of my previous videos, within the twin flame connection, psychic communication, what we call twin flame telepathy, it doesn't actually occur through the head, through the mind. It occurs through the energy, through all 7 chakras, but specifically and most dominantly, it occurs through the heart chakra, through the heart center. You may have even seen illustrations depicting twin flames connected by a silver cord at the heart chakra center, like this unbreakable, eternal cord that follows them through lifetime after lifetime. So if you are experiencing some kind of communication block with your person, the best way to approach energetically opening this block is to not only focus on, of course, the throat chakra, the seat of our authentic, clear communication, but to also focus on clearing the heart chakra, strengthening this love bond energetically between you and your twin flame. So I have created a subliminal specifically to open twin flame communication energetically. And within this subliminal, I address opening both throat chakra blocks as well as heart chakra blocks that can prevent clear, open communication with your twin flame. So that subliminal will be linked in the pinned comment if you would like to learn more about that. But the next card, the 4th card I pulled for you, is Rest and Rejuvenation. By the way, I flipped over this card right as the timer or the clock on my recording hit 22:22, and I just felt like that was significant because, as we know, 222 is a really powerful sign of twin flame alignment. It's a very twin flame divine counterpart associated number. So I feel like this message is really, really being emphasized. I hear Spirit saying to someone who's kind of like glossing over this message, like, yeah, of course I'll rest. Of course I'll take care of myself. But no, you're being told, really, really pause, take a break. You deserve and must, you need to nourish your mind, body, and soul together to really approach your life and your work really holistically, but really focusing on caring for yourself. I'm hearing that your rest actually allows you to bring a better energy to everything in your life, including this connection with your twin flame. I'm hearing that some of you do have sleeplessness because of this connection, especially right now, and know that you're not alone in experiencing this, especially around the time of a full moon, these really energetically intense times. Collectively, it's really, really normal to have nights where you feel like you're tossing and turning and kind of running things over in your mind. I'm hearing that some of you may benefit from, this is kind of a specific message, but at night, creating some kind of nighttime routine that allows you to really unravel your mind. I'm seeing some of your mind, like someone's mind, like their energy within their mind is just this kind of balled up yarn with so many strings representing so many different thoughts that are all tangled up together. And you're being told that the way to unravel this is to create more of a conscious sleep routine. So perhaps taking 20 or 30 minutes before sleep where you aren't looking at screens or artificial light, and doing whatever you do that relaxes your mind, body, and soul. So for me, this is usually like a nighttime yoga routine, drinking some water, doing some kind of a meditation, or listening to a subliminal to clear my mind. This could even be doing like some kind of sleep hypnosis or sleep meditation on YouTube with some kind of creator that you trust. Anything that kind of allows you to clear your mind, clear your energy field, would be beneficial to you if you are that person that has all of these tangled up thoughts. I'm hearing that when you're in this kind of headspace, some of you do get the urge to take some kind of action, like reach out to your person late at night. And again, that's very, very normal because you're feeling all of this emotion, all of these intense thoughts. And the ego likes to think that if we take some kind of action, we can somehow reach some kind of resolution within those thoughts, but it's really not true. We have to find that stabilization, that resolution within us first. And then once we are stable, once we are resolved, once we are aligned energetically within ourselves and at peace, ironically, that is actually when that physical manifested resolution will manifest itself into our physical world. It's all about finding that inner energetic stability. So again, if you are that person with all of these tangled up thoughts at night, I'm hearing that in that headspace, when you're feeling that way, it would really be best for you to refrain from taking any kind of strong action in that moment when it comes to your connection, but rather to really focus on finding a way to unravel those thoughts within, to stabilize yourself, to find peace within yourself, and then to sleep, to rest. I'm just hearing for some of you, you may need to know that sometimes you do just have to sleep on it. Sometimes our energy throughout a difficult day or a really emotional day can just get so balled up and tangled up. And I'm hearing that someone needs to know you don't always have to find some kind of a resolution before you go to sleep. You can just find some kind of peace, stability, clarity within yourself, doing something you love, something that cares for your body, mind, and soul. And then you can just sleep on it. And I feel that through this kind of sleep, this rest and rejuvenation process, you can do more powerful energy shifting work than you realize. That for some of you, when you wake up the next morning, things will be shifted in a powerful way. So I know this message is kind of specific, but I do feel like this is a piece of guidance someone needed to hear right now. The next card is Goddess of the Moon card in the reversed position. So interestingly, since this card does have the moon on it, I am hearing that some of you may have gone through some kind of intense feelings or some kind of intense, I'm hearing an intense maybe emotional situation on the day of the full moon or around the time of the full moon this past weekend. For others of you, I'm hearing like this card applies. I believe I said this in one of my previous readings, but this kind of comes up over and over again, and I feel it's really a collective wound or a collective experience that we're having. And this is that many of you are not even realizing just how powerful, beautiful, wonderful, and supported that you are. I feel like many of you have spent a long time giving over your power to other people or other situations. And I just saw like a prison door opening. I feel like many of you have been trapped in some kind of societally created but self-perpetuated jail, a mental, emotional jail. I feel like you were taught to restrict yourself or to confine yourself to this mental prison. But then at some point, because you had been taught that for so long, you just began locking the doors yourself. But now you're being shown that you have the power to release yourself from this mental, emotional jail, to reclaim your power, to step into your purpose. And I just heard some of you saying that it's scary. And I feel that you need to be validated in feeling that fear. That fear comes from the ego self. Whenever we let ourselves out of that jail, the ego says, yes, it was a prison, but it was also familiar. The ego likes the familiar because it can't really conceptualize anything besides what it's always known. But you are learning to listen to that vision. You are beginning to see not just through the physical eyes, through the eyes that the ego likes to absorb information through and then make decisions upon, but you're actually seeing through your third eye, through your intuition. You're seeing a possible vision of a future for yourself and beginning to have the courage to create that. And finally, the last card is hostilities. I don't feel like this for many of you will be, I feel like the word hostility is kind of a strong word. I feel in this situation, again, this is what I said earlier, an energetic power struggle or conflict of some kind. I know many of these messages have been directly connected to you listening and your role in stepping into your power and shifting the energy within this connection. But I would like to get some more messages specifically on potentially this hostility, meaning this power struggle going on right now between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Because the message that just kept coming up while I was meditating is that someone felt unsupported, and because they felt unsupported, they were lashing out in some way, but they were really just afraid. I feel like this is part of where the miscommunication is also, because I feel like someone's fear was manifesting as something else. Like, I feel like one counterpart didn't realize that the reason the other was behaving this way, whatever way they were behaving, is actually because they were afraid and still potentially a little bit in their ego mind. I'm just going to shuffle these energy oracle decks really good, and then I'm going to pull some more clarification cards. So I'm going to set my intention now, and again, you can set your own intention. So Spirit, I would like to know more about this hostilities card. What is this power struggle or conflict going on right now between the divine feminine and divine masculine? Okay, so I have 3 cards here. Wow, okay, so the first card is walking away. And I just heard, I'm scared you're going to walk away. I hear that someone is afraid of the other emotionally or physically abandoning them. Now, this will apply differently depending on where you're at on your twin flame journey. For some of you, if you're in separation, this message might sound kind of strange, but I feel like this person is afraid of losing you, even if they're pretending like they don't care, or even if you are in a time of separation that seemed to be created by this person. For those of you who are in some kind of union or connection, in a relationship of some kind with your twin flame romantically in the physical, I definitely feel like your counterpart is experiencing extreme fear of abandonment. And the second card is happy family. So I feel this is for many of you now your counterpart speaking. And I feel that this is saying, I want the same thing that you want. Because before, I feel like we were reading into your energy and how you were envisioning this stability, this family, breaking these generational curses, creating something real and tangible with this person. And now these cards are like their energy. And I feel like they are saying, I want the same thing you want. But again, I feel like there's a miscommunication in this. I feel that you both counterparts want the same thing, which of course is inevitable because within the twin flame connection, there is this shared vision that underlies the connection. This vision was actually created prior to you and your person incarnating in this life. You created a destiny for yourselves. You created a vision, and it became like a seed within your soul. And then when you incarnated here, you always had an awareness of this purpose, this shared vision you would have together. It's just the ego that gets in the way and blocks our vision, literally blocks us off from our own intuition, and even intuition when it comes to intuitively remembering our soul purpose within our divine counterpart connection. But I do feel someone needs to know that this person does want the same thing as you, even if it doesn't look this way on the surface. And the third card is the healer of the ages. I feel like this actually might connect to your purpose, that together you are here to do some kind of healing work, not just on one another, healing, expanding, and energetically aligning one another. But also, I just heard through the light of your love, you will heal the world. And I feel that this is actually something you're already doing, even if you aren't aware of it. Just by sharing this bond of love with one another, regardless of the circumstances you're experiencing physically, the light of that unconditional love bond radiates out and touches every other soul that is part of this collective whole that we call humankind. I also feel that this card signifies that for many of you, you're going through, just circling back to that rest and rejuvenation. I feel like many of you are in this time of really deep level healing with your person. And again, this will be different depending on where you're at, what stage of this journey you're at, whoever you are, wherever you are listening. But I do feel that for all of us collectively, there is this kind of pause during which we are doing a lot of deep level energy healing upon ourselves individually and within this connection. And I also feel that this card is saying to us, if you are feeling doubt as to whether or not things are healing, they are. Things are healing. Things are shifting. Things are coming into balance. These hostilities, this power struggle is all just within the ego, and it's also all an illusion because beneath the surface, you do have the same vision of stability, of manifested physical union. It's just that perhaps the ego here, two people's egos may be fighting with one another a little bit. But again, beneath the surface, there is this identical soul desire and this healing that is taking place in order to make that desire possible in manifested physical reality. I'm feeling really pulled to my Starry Beginnings deck just because there's a lot here coming up connected just to soul purpose and to the purpose with you and your divine counterpart. And I almost feel as though there is this urge from the divine to focus your attention not on the way that things are, on potentially, again, these hostilities, this conflict of power. And again, by hostilities, I don't mean necessarily yelling and arguing. I mean that there's some kind of energetic power struggle that's causing some kind of disconnect or miscommunication. So Spirit, I want to know more on this Healer of the Ages card, or just any other messages that twin flames listening need to know about their divine purpose. By the way, I know that many of you ask about twin flame purpose on Earth, so I might do a video on this later if you're interested in that. The first card is All is at your fingertips. What has been created by one can be had by all. Wow, okay, I felt this really, really strong energy from this card. Created by one, had by all. I feel that directly connecting with the fact that many of you, like I said earlier, are generational curse breakers. You are the one that creates it so that it can be had by all, meaning that you create a new pattern within your family line, within your soul family also. You forge a path that then others can more easily follow. And the second card is past life emotion lives in you. You are expressing more. It is releasing. Wow, okay, this again, there's so much connection right now to family lineage, to generations, to you being the healer of the ages, like that card said earlier. You are the healer of the ages. You are the healer of your family line. You are the generational curse breaker. And from this past life emotion, I'm hearing residual energy that is passed down from one generation to the next. Like I said earlier, we can get these certain patterns, energetic patterns that get stuck within a family line because certain ways of thinking, negative habits of thought are passed down from one generation to the next, and on it goes until someone says, I am going to break this pattern. I am going to break this curse. And the third card is life is an expression of you. And I just felt the word courage coming from this card. Life is more than existing. I feel like many of you have come from a line where many before you may have been unawakened or unconscious. And this isn't a judgment on those people. Most likely they just learned this behavior this lack of connection to their own intuition and to the divine was a learned behavior passed down from one generation to the next. However, because of this, I feel that many of you start to doubt yourself along this journey. You start to wonder, am I just delusional? Because what I'm experiencing and this connection I'm coming into is so different than what anyone else prior to me within my family or within even my community, my physical location, in what I consider society. I just feel so weird or different for what I'm experiencing, and because of that feeling of being an outcast, that community card in reverse we saw earlier, that isolation, that lack of connection, I feel like there is this fear, but you're being asked to step forward bravely in spite of that fear, because you are on your path, even if that path is being forged into a forest where no one that you know has ever walked before. And because you're forging that path, others are going to be able to follow your lead. More people are waking up than ever on the planet, and you are an integral part to that mass awakening taking place. Wow, really beautiful messages coming through. The last thing I would like to do here for now is pull some cards from the Romance Angels deck, because I want to get more messages now specifically on anything else we need to know about divine counterparts, twin flames, anything you might need to know wherever you are listening. So Spirit, what does the collective twin flame community listening need to know at this time? Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Wow, okay, so from that card, I get what I said earlier with finding the resolution within rather than seeking it externally, meaning to clear your energy within, to find stability within. Anytime you express love to yourself, nourishment to yourself, you are actually simultaneously expressing love to your divine counterpart, to your twin flame, because you are energetically perfectly connected and everything is mirrored. Everything you shift within yourself, you then shift within your twin flame as well, because this is a mirrored connection. Which leads me to wanting to also say that regardless of where you are on this twin flame journey, I know we've talked a lot about clearing your energy, shifting your energy, and I know those are really abstract concepts. So I would like to give you one tool you can use to start doing that personally has worked the best for me when it comes to energy work. And this is a 7 chakra clearing subliminal I have created specifically for twin flames. So one great way to just start steadily, consistently shifting the energy day in and day out, coming into greater balance and harmony, is to establish a 15 to 20 minute daily meditation routine in the morning. So this subliminal is perfect for a morning meditation because it contains binaural beat tones resonating to each of the 7 chakras. So it's designed to clear out any chakra blockages, and also contains about 100 unconscious affirmations. Now, these are targeted to each of the chakras, each energy center in the body. And specifically, because this is a twin flame subliminal, these affirmations are targeted to clearing out, uprooting any kinds of pockets of negative energy, which is really just negative subconscious thought reflected in the energy field. And the purpose of this is to release anything preventing that natural, full magnetic connection to our twin flame counterpart. So again, the link to this twin flame 7 chakra subliminal, as well as the subliminal I mentioned earlier in this video, will both be linked in the pinned comment under this video. And when you sign up for a 7-day free trial account on my website, you can access any of the more than 130 subliminals I have created. So this feels like a really energetically sound place to close this reading for today. So I just want to say thank you again so much to everyone out there listening, all of you who make these readings possible, who energetically support this channel with your presence here, with your beautiful energy here. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed this reading. I post 3 videos per day, Monday through Friday, and if you do like these reading style videos, usually 1 video per day will be some kind of energy reading or tarot reading, either for twin flames or for the collective. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, where I post high vibrational content to keep your vibration up all day long. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday and a beautiful start to your week. I'll talk to you again in the next video.